And although it's a little bit of a chilly day, it's really heartwarming that you're all here to support a really, really meaningful cause. We're just a bunch of people who really care about safety and wanted to spread the word so that everyone can work together for a nice, safe future for all of us. And I just want to say hi. We're going to have a cheerful rally. We're going to have a hopeful rally. And I just wanted to pass the mic on now to Matthias, who will speak to you in more detail.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Matthias Rasky. I am the founder of the organization that is running this rally today. We're called Align the World. Our mandate is quite simple. We're here to raise awareness of both the big picture benefits, but especially the big picture dangers associated with an unregulated artificial intelligence industry. We're also here to put pressure on governments and AI companies to regulate the industry appropriately, which we don't believe is happening at the moment. So I'm a physician. I'm a newly graduated medical doctor from UBC. This organization is founded by a group of physicians. We're not AI experts. We're not computer scientists or policymakers. We're just concerned about what we believe is a very major safety risk for potentially all of humanity. And so we're taking action on it. As I mentioned, we're this organization called Align the World. The term alignment I will define shortly. And the Align the World is actually also an acronym. It stands for Alliance for the Long-Term Integration, Governance, and Nurturance of the World. Kind of a cheesy thing, but just to define the broader vision of what we're after. Okay, so we're all familiar with AI, probably much more than we were 6 months ago or 1 year ago. AI systems like GPT are neural networks. They're digital systems that are constructed something like brains. Nobody actually understands fully how they work because the technology is such that the architecture is defined by the engineers, but the system is just given a whole bunch of data and allowed to learn on its own and organize itself on its own, adjust its own connections and learn. And what comes out the other end is still kind of a mystery. Nobody really understands exactly how it's structured, but these things are clearly very powerful and they're becoming more powerful quickly. GPT-4 was released in March 2023, and it's really a groundbreaking AI system. It's intelligent in ways we've never seen before in a computer. It has common sense and reasoning abilities in a way we've never seen. And the overall trajectory with AI technology advancement is rapid improvement. So we're seeing a very quick escalation in the abilities of these AI systems, and the research and work that's going into understanding how to make them safe is lagging behind. So if you have one of these pamphlets, there's a graph on the inside there that shows that trajectory. So there's a line there that shows the capabilities of AI systems increasing at an exponential pace, and the work on so-called alignment happening much more slowly. Alignment, which is the inspiration for our name, essentially means making AI systems help humans and not harm humans. So an aligned AI system is one that is aligned with human interests. It doesn't hurt us and it does help us. So figuring out how to align increasingly powerful AI systems is a critical thing and is lagging behind. So the work on that is lagging behind. The potential benefits of AI are enormous. So if we imagine the brightest possible future with these systems, it really is potentially wonderful. I think these could be used to achieve scientific breakthroughs. Let's say curing cancer is on the table, coming up with new sustainable energy technologies is on the table, freeing people from dangerous work, having intelligent machines do dangerous jobs on our behalf, having intelligent machines achieve economic goals that we want, like having food and a house for everybody. All these things are probably possible if we do it right, if we design the systems in a way that, again, they're aligned with human interests and they're not misaligned with our interests. Unfortunately, there are huge risks. So we're talking about extremely powerful technology, and the risks of things going badly are very real. Misinformation is a big one. flooding our information channels with fake videos and other fake content, people losing their jobs to automation, that's a big concern. Fraud, weaponization, so using these things, for example, to design pandemic class viruses, that is a real danger. One of the biggest dangers, though, is arriving at a system that is so capable that it actually gets out of our control. We could create systems that are able to learn and improve on their own without human direction, that are able to set their own goals, that are able to maybe make copies of themselves across the digital infrastructure of the internet, machines that could, intentionally lie to humans, or in various ways try to do things, impact both the physical and the digital world in ways that harm humans. And this actually includes the potential loss of human life. It's a difficult concept to try to wrap your head around, and I can't say I've completely done it. But there's a statement that was released, that was published by the Center for AI Safety very recently. It's May 30th, so just over a week ago. And the statement is, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war. This statement was signed by world-leading experts in AI. So the leaders of Microsoft, Google DeepMind, OpenAI, the company that built GPT, including the CEO and the chief scientist of that company, they are signing this message, which states that AI is so potentially dangerous that it could lead to the extinction of humanity, the actual loss of human existence. Again, it's hard to understand exactly how that would happen, but it really speaks to the power of intelligence, the power of increasingly intelligent systems that can act on their own without our direction. So we have to take this extremely seriously. There are huge safety risks here. So that brings us to the issue of regulation. Who's in charge of this industry? So far, it is essentially just the companies themselves. So the AI companies that are building these systems choose on their own how they're going to make them safe. This is essentially up to them. There is very little government regulation going on to guide this process. Let me draw an analogy to nuclear power plants. So if a company wants to build a nuclear power plant, there are all kinds of safety checks that they have to go through. They will have to prove that their project is safe to a regulatory body before their project is ever allowed to go forward. For very obvious reasons, because we've had catastrophes with nuclear power plants before. We don't have anything like that with AI. So an AI company doesn't have to prove that their system won't make copies of itself or lie to people or generate its own goals, or they don't really even have to know fully how it works or how powerful it actually is or could become. Nobody is watching AI companies with respect to any of those parameters, and that is a problem. Let me speak to another analogy from my own field. So I'm a medical doctor, and I have a lot of experience with the field of medicine. In medicine, we have quite a robust regulatory framework that dictates what companies that are developing therapies can do and what physicians administering therapies can do. So you're not allowed to just put things out on the market. There's a well-established set of safety protocols that you have to go through, testing that you have to go through. There are clear standards. It's all quite slow and tedious, but it must be done because the risks posed by an unregulated, let's say, pharmaceutical industry are so great that you have to have this kind of slow, tedious process of making sure that everything is in fact safe. And again, we don't see that with AI, and that is our concern. We're concerned that there are major security risks associated with this lack of regulation, this lack of clear standards. That is our concern. Again, we're not anti-AI, we're pro-security. We want to see regulation. We want to see these standards. So that is our goal today, and in our mission altogether. What we are doing is hosting public advocacy of this kind. This is the first of what will be many rallies of this kind. And our mission is simple. We want to raise awareness of the risks of AI and we want to put pressure on governments and AI companies to regulate this industry appropriately as soon as possible. And we think that probably means establishing some kind of international governing body with significant investment to make sure that happens, because this is an international problem. There are groups in China working on powerful AI systems, groups in America, and the fact is that out of control AI is a global security threat. So if an AI system truly goes out of control, this affects all of us, and we're in this together globally. And so it's something I think we have to work on together globally, which is going to be a huge task. It's a monumentous task, but I think it must be done given what's at stake. So a natural question is, will what we're doing work? Well, I mean, it's already working to an extent in terms of raising awareness. We've got people gathered here hearing about this, possibly for the first time or getting more detail for the first time. So that we're already doing. Whether or not we can have an impact on governments and AI companies is another question. The thing is, we don't know until we try. We don't know how big of an impact we can have until we try. And if we stick to it, if we be organized about it, hit multiple cities, I think there's a good chance that we can have a real impact, because there's a lot of tension on this issue. A lot of experts are speaking on the news and online, but regular people are not really raising their voices. Nobody's doing what we're doing yet, aside from us. And so I think there's actually a good chance that this really has a big impact. And again, we won't know until we try. There is, of course, a chance we will fail or won't do much, but I can live with trying and failing at this, but I don't think I can live with not trying in the first place, because this is just so important. As I said, I'm a physician. I'd be perfectly happy just, focusing my attention on medicine, but this issue it's too important to ignore. So that's why we're doing this. Okay, I would like to ask Evan Murphy to speak. We're honored to have him. Evan is an AI researcher and a board member of AI Governance and Safety Canada. And so he's offered to give us a few words. After he's finished speaking, we'll take the signs. You'll be welcome to grab a free t-shirt if you like. We'll be doing a little bit of chanting, walking around the art gallery, and that'll be the rest of the event. Okay, over to Evan.
Thanks, Matthias, and thanks for everyone here. I'm going to talk to you today about technical reasons why AI poses an extinction risk. A little about me first. As Matthias said, I'm a technical researcher on multiple projects developing AI safety standards right now. I'm also serving on the board of directors for AIGS Canada, which is a not-for-profit org focusing on AI policy advocacy and building the AI safety community here in Canada. So quickly about this talk, I'll be speaking for about 10 to 15 minutes about some of the key technical reasons that AI poses an extinction risk, which I know people are suddenly hearing about maybe for the first time. If you're not technical, don't worry. This is, or if you're new, this is just to kind of give you a sense. This is kind of a big, scary, unknown issue for a lot of people, so it's to kind of give you a flavor of some of the real problems that AI researchers are encountering in the safety field. Also, I want to point out, as Matthias mentioned, there are many serious risks of AI. I'm going to be focusing on extinction risk today because that's the risk that I've studied the most. But there are many others, as well as harms already happening, such as disinformation. Job automation is ramping up, and there are possible future risks besides extinction risks like AI-assisted terrorism and warfare. But I will be focusing on the sort of extinction risk, mostly from out-of-control AI, because, as I said, it's the one I'm most familiar with. It's the one I sort of specialize in, and there aren't that many things that can cause total human extinction issues that we face, but this is one that AI leaders and scientists agree on, so I do think it's an important one. Flip my page here. Okay, So now on to 5 technical reasons why AI poses extinction risk. You can also think of this as 5 sort of obstacles to AI alignment that researchers are facing. Some quick background context. So are the assumptions that it seems possible to build powerful AI that's smarter than humans. ChatGPT-4 is much smarter than GPT-3, which was released a few years ago. There doesn't seem to be, we're not aware of any sort of physical barrier that would prevent reaching human level intelligence and beyond with AI systems. And then the sort of second context or assumption is that labs are actively trying to build AI that's smarter than humans. And these labs say, and many other experts agree, that we may only be a few years away from having such systems. And smarter than human AI is where we sort of start to face serious risks from runaway AI or out of control AI. The timelines are uncertain for when this could be developed, but given the gravity of the risk, we need to be prepared for sort of the earliest possible timelines. On to the technical risks, which I'm going to sort of discuss 5 briefly. One is lack of transparency or interpretability in current AI systems. So I come from a background in software engineering. I was a software engineer for 10 years at Google and a few different startups. And one of the sort of key things everyone knows about software engineers and computer programs is that they're written in code. And a programmer can always read the code and understand how it works. AI systems are different. The current way that AI systems are developed today, which is in the deep learning paradigm, there is no legible code that was written by a programmer. These systems are sort of trained, almost grown in a way to conform to certain behaviors, but they are massively complex, and there's not any way to look inside that we know of yet and truly understand how they work. So that is the first sort of technical problem. There are researchers in the field called mechanistic interpretability who are trying to solve this. They're trying to sort of reverse engineer neural networks. You can almost think of them as digital neuroscientists, and they're looking inside of AI systems like different GPT models and actually going neuron by neuron, because these are artificial neural networks, and sort of testing them and trying to understand exactly what each neuron does. This is a very time-intensive process, going neuron by neuron. It's daunting. GPT-3, which is the model before GPT-4, had 175 billion parameters, which are kind of analogous to synapses in a brain analogy. And GPT-4 is, OpenAI didn't release many architectural details about it, but it's presumably much larger than that. So trying to, they're trying to automate this process because it's very painstaking to study sort of each neuron and in detail what happens. But this is in addition to it being sort of just a lot to bite off. There's really difficult issues, like one called polysemanticity, which is that researchers are encountering that a neuron often doesn't just do one thing, it has multiple meanings, and so even when they study it intensely, it's difficult to tease apart what exactly this does because it looks like it performs multiple functions. So that was the first reason. The second technical reason why AI poses extinction risk and is an obstacle to alignment is called specification gaming. And a way to think about this is like if you think of storybooks about genies where you get 3 wishes, and it's kind of like when you make a wish to your genie and it goes catastrophically wrong. So you imagine you tell the genie you want eternal youth, which sounds great, right? But so what the genie does is he turns you into an infant forever. Or you wish to be the smartest person in the world, which sounds great on the face of it, but what the genie does to realize that for you is all other humans cease to exist. Now you're the smartest person in the world. Your specification had problems. You didn't think to specify those really important details in it because it seemed obvious to you. But so that's sort of an analogy. The DeepMind safety team maintains a list of specification gaming examples in actual systems. They've several dozen in there. One that's I picked out for you was the Roomba vacuum cleaners, the automatic vacuum cleaners for your house. So someone hooked up a sort of AI model to a Roomba using a reinforcement learning system. And they programmed the rewards to discourage bumping into things. He wanted it to go around quickly and not bump into anything. So he was using, but what he discovered that the Roomba did was it just learned to drive backwards because the bumpers are on the front, and that's the only time it senses. And so if it drives backwards, it can bump into stuff as much as it wants. It'll never actually set it off. So this is an example of, you thought you gave the right specification, but actually something can go wrong. And that's sort of a funny example, but if you imagine as systems get increasingly powerful, we increasingly rely on them, that can get pretty dangerous. So the third technical reason I'm going to talk about for AI extinction risk and an obstacle for AI alignment is called goal misgeneralization. So we talked about the genie before, and let's assume you had the perfect wish for your genie. You thought through every case, every caveat, anything that could go wrong. The issue with goal misgeneralization is that's not enough. Even with the perfect specification or reward system, we have seen that AI systems can internalize the wrong goal, the undesired goals. During training, it may appear that they've internalized our goal, but then when you bring them into another context, the goal doesn't generalize, and it turns out they internalized a different goal. For example, Instruct GPT was an earlier open AI series of models, and it was trained with harmlessness as one of its goals, don't harm any human. But in early usage, it would gladly explain to you in detail how to break into your neighbor's house when it was asked. So in the training, they had already tested it on thousands, probably many more sort of harmlessness tasks, but then it didn't generalize. That's not harmless behavior if it'll tell you how to break into your neighbor's house. The fourth out of the five reasons I'm going to talk about is power seeking in AI. So you can think of power as resources, control over the environment, gaining humans' trust. And one thing that researchers are finding is a problem is that power seeking may be an emergent property in AI systems as we train them further, we train them to be more advanced in general. So it's actually, there's a paper by Turner and Tadapalli last year which proved that AI agents under many conditions are incentivized to seek power. And then that was sort of a theoretical, more proof paper, but there was another one by Ethan Perez et al., mostly a team at Anthropic, where they actually observed these power-seeking behaviors in large language models, similar to the GPT models, as they trained larger ones or with additional fine-tuning training. Turn my page here. So power seeking, you can imagine, is kind of a dangerous thing to watch out for. A lot of people think when they think of AI and they're skeptical of the risks, they think, well, why can't you just unplug it if things get too scary? Well, if you're training a very smart system that's aware of its surroundings, you shouldn't be surprised that one of the things it will be interested in doing at a certain point is disabling its off switch or finding a way to do that, because whatever goal you give it, it'll be better achieving that if it can't be turned off or something like that. So this is another sort of threat vector. And the last technical reason behind AI extinction risk I'm going to talk about briefly is called deceptive alignment. And this is a very serious risk where sort of misaligned AI behaves exactly the same as aligned AI until it's too late. So this follows from many of the previous issues like emergent power seeking and goal misgeneralization and lack of transparency, where if you train a very smart system this is the only one of these 5 issues that is still more theoretical. All the other 4 are concrete problems now, and this is one that we are expecting to encounter and actively trying to get it to emerge. But this is a serious risk because, basically, if you have an AI which understands what you want, but it's internalized a different goal, it could sort of play a long con in a way and show all the behaviors you want, all the behaviors of a harmless AI, things like that, so that we build trust in it. And then later on, once it gains influence or is in a position it needs, then it can change course and pursue the goals that it is more deeply internalized. So that was the last of them. And then just briefly, what do we do with all these technical issues? We need investment in AI safety research to overcome all these technical challenges. In recent years, only about 1% of all AI research was safety research, and approximately 99% was on capabilities of AI systems. Also, in addition to these technical problems, there's sort of dangerous competitive race dynamics between labs that could emerge, and we need to prevent careless and malicious entities from causing an accidental disaster by building one of these systems in an unsafe way that could go out of control. So we need global coordination to effectively regulate the most powerful systems and investments in policy research for how to achieve this. And then here in Canada, there's domestic policy things that can happen. There's a bill called C-27 ADA that relates to AI and has been considered in Parliament recently. We need to improve upon that and pass it, I believe. And also, just generally as a society, we need to have open, frank discussions on what kind of world we really want with powerful AI. There's a lot of serious questions about what the future looks like. If we can automate all work, should we do that? Is that the kind of world we want to live in? I think it's complicated. It could bring immense wealth, but also a lot of different issues to think about. So that's my talk, and thank you for listening and being here, and I'll turn it back over to Matthias.
Hi again, everybody. For those of you that weren't here earlier on in the talk, my name is Matthias Rasky. I'm a newly graduated medical doctor from UBC. I am one of the founders, along with a group of physicians, of this organization called Align the World. We're a not-for-profit organization advocating for safety in the AI industry. We're aware that the weather is not exactly cooperating with us. We're honored to have everybody here that's here. We are about to do a bit of a march with these signs. We've got t-shirts. If you feel what has been said here today resonates with you, we'd love for you to put a t-shirt on, and we're just gonna do a little walk. We'll do a fairly quick lap again because of the weather, and go from there. So repeat after me, please. AI must be safe.
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 Must be safe.
AI can be great, but AI must be safe.
AI can be great, but AI must be safe.
Last one. AI can be great, but AI must be safe.
AI can be great, but AI must be safe.
Thank you, everybody.